Well, good evening, y'all. It is time to breathe again on the latest BOFA Sports webcast streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Speaking of YouTube, Aaron, see that you got a comment in there for us talking about BOFA. We love it.
Hey, I love it when people can't wait for us.
Yeah. So we appreciate you, Aaron, for tuning in, and we hope you enjoy what we have coming up on the show for tonight. Patrick, we'll start. For me, a little somber because my Texas Longhorns went out in the college football playoff semifinal against Ohio State, and they will be playing Notre Dame in the final, in the national championship game. So we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But for the Cotton Bowl there, looking at the game and how everything materialized, literally Ohio State was better in situational football than we were. Literally. 2 touchdowns, one at the end of the first half on a screen pass to Travion Henderson, and the other at the end of the second half, end of the game. We have a Quinn Ewers sack fumble by his roommate, Jack Sawyer, when Ewers, of course, was up at Ohio State for that year. Sack fumble, scoop score, touchdown, 28-14. There's your difference in the game. I think how everything broke down, it went kind of how I felt when we talked about it last week. Texas was starting to get a good running game going. They didn't break off any big runs, but they had 4, 5, 6-yard runs, starting to get it going. We were getting pressure on Will Howard. He got an interception. We got an interception on him. So a lot of the things I felt could happen was happening. But those 2 plays and the second down call Sark had down there in the goal line was horrendous. I mean, look, I feel this way. And you know I like Sark's play overall. He's really innovative with what he does. You can't run a toss sweep down there on a second and goal from the line. You can't do that.
I saw that play, and to me, it looked like Stark didn't understand. Well, no. Let me take that back. It's not that he didn't understand. I think desperation kind of set in, and he was trying to make desperate plays. And when Stark and Stark did this when he was with Nick Saban, there was times where he would make a desperation call, and it didn't work out very well. And he tends to do this, not a lot, but there is a moment that he does it. And when I saw that play, I was like, Stark, no, dude, no, that's not the time to make that call. And you could tell when it came to his head and it happened and they did that play and he went like this. He knew he made the wrong call. Like, there's a time to make that call, and that was not the time. I mean, you can make that call 100 different ways. Right then was not that time.
I think it set up the rest of the play calling sequence. You go from second and goal at the 1 to third and goal at the 8. It's a 7-yard loss, and now you become predictable as a play caller. You kind of have to throw there, and it's already difficult to throw because simply the space. You don't necessarily have the space to have routes develop. The timing is a little bit more constricted because of that space being limited. And then you have the 4th down call where Ewers gets sacked, and it was kind of a rollout, but it was going to the short side of the field. So now you're constricting more space, and then it's it's the sack fumble. I mean, I'm sitting there. I mean, I didn't get too upset about it. I mean, I more or less I just put my head down in my hands.
Yeah, because this was the year. This was the year for Texas when it wasn't like last year. We expected things from Texas, but when they made it as far as they did, I kind of felt Texas was playing with house money, right? This year was not that. Like, now this is an expectation. Like, they should have, be honest with you, they should have had handled Ohio State. But Ohio State came out with a great game plan. They really did. When I was watching it, they did exactly what we had been talking about 3 weeks prior. Do your passes, do what you need to do, open up the run. It did. He just went to his playmakers. And Ryan Day, I mean, to me, there was no out coaching. There was no out playing. It just, well, I take that back. It wasn't no out coaching. Texas just got a little outplayed, and not much at all. But they did get beat on several plays that they probably shouldn't have got beat on throughout the game. I didn't see anybody. I mean, like, Texas didn't shoot themselves on the foot and penalized themselves like crazy throughout the entire game. It was a very clean game. I mean, so I don't want to say that Texas got outplayed, because they really didn't. It's just, but I guess the best way to say it is, on January 10th, the best team won. That's kind of how on January 10th, the best team won that day. I do not feel Texas, that Ohio State is a better team than Texas, but that day they were, and that was it. I mean, like, Texas didn't get outplayed. There was no out coaching. I think Stark made a few bonehead play calls, but other than that, Texas played well. I mean, what was it, 14-14 almost at the end of the third quarter? So Texas played well. Just Ohio State, like you said, just started kind of opposing their will, and by the end of the fourth quarter, it was all Ohio State.
Well, they made the plays when they had, when the money plays had to be made. Ohio State made those, and so yeah, all the credit in the world goes to them. I'm not coming on here, nor do I really ever come on here, and you don't either. But we don't come on here making any excuses, man. I mean, Ohio State made those plays when they were needed. When your best is needed, they came through.
They came through.
And so they deserve to be in the championship game. No questions asked from me. I will say, for everybody who is out there killing Quinn Ewers, I get he might not be that dude, like the guy that you say, hey, put the ball or put the game in his hands. He's going to go out there and win it for you. He might not be that guy, but there were some plays he did make throughout the course of the year where if he didn't make those plays, we wouldn't have even got here. Hell, if he didn't make that 4th and 13 throw in the Peach Bowl against Arizona State, wouldn't have been there.
You wouldn't have been there either.
So
and luckily, that was outside the 20.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, red zone execution. Yeah, kind of a bugaboo for us this year, absolutely. But he made some plays during the stretch of the season that got us to this point. So I can understand frustration about him maybe not being that guy. I mean, I saw a lot, you know how it goes, Patrick, when you get sucked into the cesspool that is social media. Sometimes a lot of Ewers sucks, Ewers is bad. I'm not going to say he's bad. If you want to say he's not that guy who you can say put the game on his shoulders, he's going to get you there. He doesn't have it, whatever it is. That's fair if you want to say that. But to just throw him out like he's trash or garbage, No, man.
I wouldn't go that far. He like you said, he has made several big plays. Now, am I looking at Texas and going, you know, what y'all have shelved is a better quarterback? Potentially, yes. Because I do feel Texas kind of did what Georgia did this year, you know, with Carson Beck and what he went through with him being in the senior year. And we had Gunner shelved, waiting for next year. I do feel Texas did that. I do feel like Manning is going to be a better position for y'all. But to say yours is flat out just horrendous, look, dude, I'd take yours over Beck any day. Any day. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you Beck is a bad quarterback. He's not a good quarterback, but he's not bad either. Would I take him first round? No. I'd take yours first round. But would I take Beck first round? No. I'd take him high mid second at best. Because I do think he is that good. But, I mean, I sit and look at Gunner and I sit and look at Manning. I'd totally start them over both of those in a heartbeat. You know what I mean? But you are just not that bad. Like you said, they wouldn't be where Texas wouldn't have been at that game if it wasn't for a lot of big runs that Ewers is not a running quarterback, and he made a few big runs that got y'all to wins. You know what I mean? So I think he's a good quarterback. I'd totally take Ewers over Beck. And good riddance to Beck going to Miami. Everybody knew that was happening. I don't know why everybody was like, "Oh man, he's declaring for the draft." I was like, "He's going to Miami."
Yeah,
one more year with that girl.
Yeah, the draft stock wasn't really that high for Beck either. One more thing I'll say before talking about the other semifinal. I do think if Manning does get in there, so if we're in this situation next year, maybe if we can get to a semifinal, we get through the playoffs, get to the situation again, I do believe there is probably something in Arch that Quinn doesn't quite have. I think there's a look in Arch Manning's face when you're sitting there, you're looking at him. Of course, he's antsy to get in, highly recruited guy, of course, and he's been patient sitting there behind Ewers for a couple of years. I do believe he brings a different dynamic that could potentially elevate us. Because I'm willing to acknowledge that. I think there's a certain look he has that says he wants that moment. Give me that moment. We gonna make this thing happen, no matter what. If I gotta run, we getting it. If I gotta make this throw, I can make the money throw. It's a look that says you might not trust the situation, but you trust him, and he's gonna make it.
Look at Georgia, same thing. I mean, I look at Arch Manning, and you are getting a dynamic quarterback. He's a dynamic quarterback. He can beat you with his legs. He can beat you with his arm. We all know what he's coming from. I mean, his dad wasn't a runner. His uncle's not a runner. Neither one of them were. I think his uncle did play, or his other one played, not Peyton, but I can't think of his other one. I think he played a little bit of wide receiver.
Eli played receiver?
Huh?
Eli played receiver?
No, not Eli. The other brother, Arch's dad. I think he was he played a little bit of wide receiver and quarterback.
Yeah, Cooper. And Cooper was supposed to be better than Peyton and Eli from everything I had heard. But he had a back and neck injury that
took him out, and he was a quarterback. Supposedly better than both Eli and Peyton altogether. And Arch, his grandpa was New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, quarterback.
New Orleans Saints quarterback. And I think he won one Super Bowl with them, too, maybe.
Well, no, I don't know if the Saints have won a Super Bowl. Well, okay, they won one, and of course in 2009. I don't know.
I think he won one for them when he was quarterback. You know, when they don't count. You know, based on our rules now that they don't count.
Before the Super Bowls came.
yeah, you know, back when Green Bay was always winning everything, when you know Super Bowl winning. But so you know that he comes from a pedigree that can throw the ball. None of them could run, so the fact that you have a Manning out there running, that's pretty interesting. You know what I mean? So I think he brings a totally different dynamic to the team, and he's gonna sling the ball and he's gonna run that ball. And I can tell you, Texas is gonna be in a position where they're fighting for that SEC, get into that playoff bid next year too. So I like their odds, man. I like their odds far better with Manning than I did with Ewers. But Ewers is a good quarterback.
And over on the other side, he had Notre Dame winning on a last-second field goal against Penn State, 27-24. More on that score in a minute.
Did you get it?
No, dude. I changed it. You remember we were sitting there.
28-24 Notre Dame.
Because you remember, I said, I was like, you know what, I'm going to go 27-24. And then I changed it. And I said, nope, I'm going to go with the same final score.
I could have swore you got it, dude. I was like, dang it. He beat me.
I missed it by that 1 point. Because I popped up the 27-24. That was another moment where I just held my head in my head. Because I'm just like,
of course, you're going to pick the right team, but you can't pick the right score.
I almost hit that. Oh my goodness.
And can you believe here we are when everybody says football is a game of inches?
Yeah, no, I'm so happy. I just put my hand. I was like, I should be up. I should be up, and I changed it at the last minute because we were talking. I said, "Yep, I'm gonna go 27-24." No, you know what? No,
I like your score. I like your score, but I'm going to go Notre Dame, 28-24.
So 27-24, Notre Dame wins. And that game, how we talked about, Patrick, teams very similar, running the football. You had good defense also on both sides. And what Notre Dame was able to do by hanging in, to give them credit because they were down 10-0 and Penn State looked pretty good.
Yeah.
Taking that 10-0 lead. Notre Dame fought back, scrapped, and they put the ball in Drew Ayler's hands. And what I find myself saying about Drew Ayler is he's a good quarterback, but just like what we were talking about Quinn Ewers, it's probably not that guy you're going to put the game in his hands to where, hey, I need this play. I need you to make these throws. Get us in the field goal range. And, man, he made a throw across his body, across the middle. It got picked. It was a bad throw.
It was a bad decision.
Yeah. And a great play made by their corner, Gray, to dive and get those arms underneath and set them up to kick a game-winning field goal. But that game went down to the wire, and this wasn't like what you were talking about with the Texas-Ohio State game. This wasn't one of those James Franklin got out coached. Notre Dame made plays. Yeah, this was the players who had to come through were able to for Notre Dame and didn't quite do it for Penn State. Not one of those things where it's X's and O's, a Marcus Freeman called this timeout or made this coaching adjustment, and James Franklin on the other side couldn't adjust to it. Nah, this was just solid money plays again.
Yeah. And and honestly, like you said, what really determined it was, Penn State was driving, and then but you do have to give Notre Dame's defense a lot of credit because, if I recall, they were showing blitz on that play, and the linebackers pulled back and forced him to. And then that one linebacker came around, forced him out, when he went out and he had to make that cross the body throw, just was a bad play. I mean, he kind of probably should have thrown that away and lived to play another down. But hey, like you said, he's not that guy that you would want to put the game in his hands like that. But I will say this: he showed a lot of poise throughout that game because, like you said, he had to put that game on his shoulders and make some big plays, and he did. So, you know, not only do I say give Notre Dame a lot of credit, but you got to give Penn State a lot of credit for them getting as far as they did, and, you know, pushing Notre Dame to the absolute
to the limit.
So, but so it's Rudy is always offsides. He's always offsides.
You know, you got to tell me the story why you say that all the time.
It's back on that. It's back on that movie Rudy, and every time I see that, they're like, "Oh yeah, put Rudy in," and so he goes in right at the end of the movie. To me, he looks offsides.
Oh, on that play, yeah,
on that play,
and he got the sack.
On that sack, to me, he looks offsides. So I always say he's offsides. So Notre Dame shouldn't have won that game. And that would have gave the other team first down, and Rudy would have been irrelevant. So that movie would have been totally irrelevant. But I say he's offsides because he looks offsides to me.
So Aaron chimed in, and he said he may have missed it, but Texas play calling sequence. Yes.
Yeah, you missed it.
We covered that at the beginning, Aaron. Yeah, the second down, that second down play call was very horrible, and it set up the third and the fourth down call. I mean, when you go from 2nd and 1 or 2nd and goal from the 1 to 3rd and goal from the 8 off of that play, yeah, it just messed everything up with the sequence, and it makes you predictable.
Yeah,
that's
what did we say? What did we say last week? Run the ball.
Run the ball. Yep.
The gut.
Yep.
You have the biggest offensive line in all of college football, and you want to play pitches? I mean, come on.
And at some point, Patrick, also, you as a coach or as players, you just have to say to the other team, you got to show me you can do something.
Show me you can stop me.
Yeah, so Sark came in respecting Ohio State's goal line defense. Yeah, they've had numerous stops throughout the year on the goal line, 4 down stops, turnovers, whatever the case. And like you said, we got this big offensive line. I'm running the ball 4 times. That's just me. Like, show me. I get it. You stop these other teams. Show me you can stop me.
Yeah.
Show me that you can stop me with this big offensive line. And again, they have been running the ball generally well. Body blows, 4, 5, 6 yard runs. You can get me a yard.
Yeah.
You can get me a yard. So
whether you go underneath or over the top. Give me my yard. And as a coach, you walk up to him, you grab him by the shoulders, pads, and you go, you better give me my yard. Go. You get me my yard. We're not playing pitch. We're not tossing it out to the side. We're not throwing no screen passes up the gut. You better get me my yard. You want to be here? If you don't get me my yard, transfer portal. That's where you're going. And I'm going to escort you there.
So, Patrick, so before we pick this national championship game, Aaron says Ryan Day has a fake beard. So
yes, he
definitely doesn't respect it like he respects yours.
I know. My beard, this is real. You can tell because I got gray. Ryan Days, he puts only men's crap in his beard. It probably wouldn't surprise me none that he super glues that on there. Perfect. I can tell you right now, I will say this though. I said it. Hey, look, shout out to Notre Dame because head coach
Marcus Freeman.
Dude is sharp. He's
clean.
All the edges.
He's clean.
He's clean. Dude. Notre Dame may be like a religious school, but he's pulling. all of them.
He's
All of the girls. He's pulling them all.
So before we pick out the national championship game here, I'm gonna pull up the graphic here. Now look, Patrick, you're still winning by 2. I am so mad at that final score though.
Yeah, you would have beat me. That would have been over. We wouldn't even have to pick the next game.
so close. I can't believe it. Cannot believe it. Aaron says Marcus Freeman got that Popeye swag. So yeah, I mean, but the records here, 60-28 overall for you and 58-30 for me. You know what? We're taking the graphic off because that final score part just.
Hey, we've been doing this for 2 years. I've won both of them. I'm 2-0 for the years. 2-0. 2-0.
They've just been down to the final week every single time too.
Yeah, I think I only beat about one game last year, and I picked a. It was kind of like how I picked that Army game where I was like, dude, there's only one chance I'm ever going to pick Army, and then I picked Army and they win, and I was like,
oh, we'll take that point. Yeah,
I'll take that point all day, every day. So if it wasn't for that one, man, that one kind of put me over the top for the year, and I kind of, putted to the end because you were right there on me. But yeah, only one more game. Can't beat me unless you get that final score right. So
yeah,
you got to be perfect this week.
Who do you have winning the game and the score?
Oh man, look. Aaron said it earlier. Notre Dame. I'm going to Ohio State, man. I think they're just too strong of a team. At this point, I have went against Notre Dame. Now here, remember the last time I did this? Like I went with the Cubs. I was like, Cubs lose, Cubs lose, Cubs lose. And then I was like, okay, fine, Cubs win, and then they lose. Remember that? Okay, this is how I hope it doesn't go this way. Because I have picked against Notre Dame the entire time. I was like, all against. But I at this point, okay, give Notre Dame their credit. Give them the respect. I'm gonna go Ohio State. Sorry, I'm gonna go Ohio State 31-23.
31-23. All right, look, Ohio State should win this game. I mean, I think they do have just an advantage. I think you're looking at it on paper, they have a better team, more weapons. The defense is probably pretty better than Notre Dame's, even though Notre Dame is let me see what Aaron says here. So you tell me you're proud of that.
Yeah, I remember that game.
I remember that game too.
I don't everybody just kick field goals.
I do think this will be a good game. I think you will be pleasantly surprised with this one, Aaron. I do think it will be close. I think Ohio State does have a better team on paper with the weapons. But I'm throwing a Hail Mary here, Patrick.
You got no choice.
I'm going
to go home.
And look, and here's the thing. The ghost of Lou Holtz is going to walk through. And Notre Dame is going to come through here and win this game. I got it a field goal game. I think I think it comes down to the wire. I'll say 30-27. Because I think the defenses will show up. I don't think it will be a crazy scoring game.
What'd you say?
30-27.
Oh, I thought you said 32-27. I was like, that is not 3.
No.
You probably meant 32-27. Oh, okay. Never mind.
Yeah. Yep. No, that's all good. Yeah. 30-27 final score. And then Sophie.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, and so, and I think now,
don't bring that crap to Atlanta. I don't need that crap.
I do look. No, Notre Dame has to stay in this game, though. Like, if they have to get it past, I'd say, the middle of the second quarter to give themselves a chance to stay in this. I think if Ohio State wins, it's a blowout. I really do. I think Ohio State will win solidly. If they are going to win, I think they're winning by 17 or more. I think they can get away early if they are going to win the game. But if Notre Dame is able to hang in there with some of that game pressure, scrap, I think they can pull this out. So I'm going 30-27. Hopefully I hit the final score with that point and pull this bad boy out. Oh, Patrick, you should have been down. You should have been down. So bad.
I should be down by one game right now.
Yeah.
But yeah. You know, it would be salt on the wound if Ohio State wins this game 31-23. And then you lose by 6.
I know, yeah.
And, like, and for the whole year, I'd be like, dude, you weren't even close.
You're right.
You lost by 6 games, bro. You weren't even close. I don't care how close it was at the end of the season. Dude, you weren't even close.
He was nowhere in the ballpark.
But I will say this. If you're hoping for the ghost of Luke Holtz, you probably should have been in New Orleans. They should have probably played that game in New Orleans because that voodoo crap don't work in Atlanta.
Not in Atlanta. I got you. Yeah.
It don't work in Atlanta. Because that crap happens in Atlanta, we just leave. We don't. We're not hanging around for all that ghost crap. We're out. I'd be like.
Nah, Notre Dame needs some things to happen, though. They're going to have to, of course, the defense, which has been a strength of theirs, they have to play well. And they might need like a special teams touchdown or something to happen on special teams. And just hang in there. And I think they'll need a couple of turnovers to give themselves a chance at this, too. If they don't force turnovers, then I just think Ohio State will prove to be better. But I'm going, like I said, zombie of Luke Holtz coming on through. And
we don't need that in Atlanta. We got enough dead bodies floating around after the Falcons did their crap.
So with that, Patrick, goodness, that'll be the end of the college football season. Man.
Yeah. That went fast too.
It did. The time flies when you're having fun, right? But let's go over to the NFL, and now we are in the divisional round.
Chargers suck. Never pick them again. Never pick that BS team again. I'm like, things changed. As much as they changed, they all stay the same.
Yes, look, this is, and sometimes it's just you have to see it to believe it. The Chargers have been hyped up so much, and now especially that Jim Harbaugh is there as the head coach, it's this is the time that the Chargers step up. And you remember what I told you? I just said, well, shoot, it's a Saturday afternoon in Houston. The Texans are used to this, but I just felt CJ Stroud was going to make enough plays, and they were going to get pressure on Herbert, and he was going to have some turnovers. I wasn't expecting 4 interceptions. I wasn't expecting that. But
dude, when he threw that third one, I was like, dang, they got Carson back in there.
Yeah.
Dude, remember the girl? What's her name? That I like on TikTok. Angie Angler.
Oh, Annie Agar.
Yeah, that girl, dude.
Yeah.
Did you see her last? Bit? They were like,
she's
like, I thought Carson Beck was going to the draft, and he was like, no. His girlfriend told him that he's coming to Miami, and he was like, oh well, that guy can't even get to the NFL without throwing an interception.
Yeah, she's funny, man. She coming with it.
Dude, I was crying. I was cracking up, dude. And she was like, yeah, he can't even go to the NFL without throwing an interception.
They had to.
Without getting intercepted. That's what it was. Dude, I was rolling.
When we hit our stride, you have to see if she come on the show or something.
Dude, I will keep my mouth shut and just let her talk.
Yeah, right. You know what?
Right here and laugh the entire time.
Just say, be looking out for us, Annie. All right, be on the lookout for us.
What's up, Philip? What's up, man?
Yep, I see Philip coming in. Hey, good to see you on here, Phil. And if I can call you Phil, I don't know. Maybe I can't call you Phil. I don't know.
Because you start calling Phil, everybody start calling him Uncle Phil, and then.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, I did not expect 4 interceptions from him, man, and I was like, okay, yeah, it's sort of
the Chargers aren't. They're just not. They're not good. They're right there with the Cowboys in terms of easily the most hyped up teams who don't do anything. And so this is another case of that as far as I'm concerned. But other games, and Aaron just mentioned it, he thinks it was the worst wild card weekend of all time. The games were not close. The only game that was close was the Sunday nighter between the Commanders and the Buccaneers. And you had a doink on that last second field goal, and the Commanders are moving on.
Commanders got some chief praise right there on that doink. Then they still gonna move back.
Blow the goalpost a little bit. You know what? The Commanders have had a lot of games that have come down like that. One in overtime against the Falcons. They beat the Bears on that Hail Mary. They beat the Eagles last second touchdown as well. They've been coming on through and just making these plays. And Jaden Daniels, like I said, man, being up here in DC, I see how everybody has rallied around him. The team has rallied around him. They have new ownership there. It is hype up here in DC right now. Now, they're going to have a game coming up, of course, on Saturday that we're going to get into against the Detroit Lions. But, man, this has definitely been some sort of a magic carpet ride for the Commanders. And you talk about playing with house money. That is them right now. Some of the other games, let's see what he say. If only they had a receiver whose name rhymes with me and Calvin. You know, Aaron's wild. Okay, then he mentioned the Chicago Bears. So he's going off of the Bears because a few years ago, the Bears had that field goal, that double doink, and didn't go in against the Eagles. And so the Bears might be a cursed franchise too, though, Aaron. But then you look at the other games, the Eagles handled the Packers, the Bills handled the Broncos, the Ravens handled the Steelers. The Rams looked really good matching the Vikings. So, I mean, yeah, none of these games were really close. I mean, the Commanders were the only road team that won this week. So now, man, let's look at these divisional round games, and we'll start with the Kansas City Chiefs because they're coming off of their bye, and this is just going off of the schedule that is in place as the games will appear. So the first game will be the Kansas City Chiefs hosting the Houston Texans. As mentioned earlier, the Texans are coming off of their win against the LA Chargers, and the Chiefs have some players who literally got 3 weeks of rest. So they're coming in very well. They're coming in well rested for this game. And again, it's going to be in Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. Do you think, Patrick, the Texans, who will get the first shot here at the Chiefs, can they be the team to actually make the plays in the money moments and knock off the Chiefs. Do you see that effort from the Texans?
Look, can the Texans make the money plays? Yes. The problem is that the Chiefs always get that big play that they need, whether that's on offense, whether that's on defense. I mean, I want to say yes, but I don't think so. I think the Chiefs win, and I don't think they handle the Texans, but I do feel they win. Probably by a touchdown or something like that, maybe 7 to 10 points at most. I think the Texans hang in, but I don't think they beat them.
Yeah, I agree with you. And then Aaron mentioned it in the comments too. The weather is going to be cold in Kansas City, and
the balls get really hard in the cold.
And the Texans are an indoor team, and of course, being down in Texas, you don't see cold weather like that. So yeah, there's just too many things that seem to be in the Chiefs' favor, and I'm with you. If the Chiefs are going to get defeated, it's going to take a really good team. I think the Texans are a good team, but like a step below teams like the Baltimore Ravens, the Buffalo Bills, maybe Detroit in the NFC, if it comes down to that. I don't think the Texans have quite enough either to make those plays. And I'm with you. I think they'll win. I think the Chiefs will win by 7 to 10 points, especially being there in Arrowhead. Yeah. So next game, interesting now, Saturday night, those Washington Commanders come into Detroit, who got the bye week in the NFC, coming in there for a matchup with the Lions. The Lions getting some rest for some players because they have a lot of injuries there. We're going to get some of those guys back. And we mentioned with the Commanders coming in here with the rookie sensation, as they like to call him now, Jaden Daniels. And they're just a team playing with house money. Defense is playing solid. The offense is making plays. And they just have this feeling of, if we can get it in the clutch, Jaden Daniels is going to pull it out for us. He's going to make those plays. Does he make those plays in this environment? Because that crowd is going to be. He's
going to make a few, but here's the thing: Detroit's ready. That team has been wanting a Super Bowl for years. So, I mean, I think Detroit comes in. I'm rooting for Washington because of what Daniels has done and what he has done for that city and in giving them a lot of life and all that stuff. But, at the same time, Detroit's looking for the same thing. And I just think Detroit is going to be far more hungry for it on both sides of the ball. I would say Detroit's going to win this. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but I think it's going to be interesting. I think that the Commanders will hang in for a little bit, but I think Detroit's kind of getting away with it around the third, midway through the third, 10 to 14 points, something like that. But I think Detroit comes in and wins.
So this is a game, and also, so I'll say this also, going back to the Texans and Chiefs game, the quarterbacks for them. So for Houston, CJ Stroud, if they are going to go to Kansas City and win, he got to have a Superman cape. I mean, he got to have 350 yards passing and probably 60 or 70 yards running.
Yeah, he's going to go like 44, 45 with no interceptions and 3 touchdowns. I mean, you got to come in there looking like you're the best quarterback to ever walk on a football field.
And I think Jaden Daniels, as great as he's been, he's going to have a similar performance that I'm saying for CJ Stroud. If they're going to go into Detroit and win this game, he's going to have to be as good as he's been and more. Detroit has a loaded team. They have a very good offense. That defense is going to attack as well. They are going to get after Jaden Daniels. So he's going to have to use his legs there to make some plays and make some throws. On the other end, Washington can't sit back on defense either. They got to come after Jared Goff. They cannot let Jared Goff sit back there and pick the defense with all those weapons. So, St. Brown, Amon-Ra St. Brown, got Jamison Williams, Sam Laporta, the tight end, and those running backs with Gibbs. And they might also get David Montgomery back in that backfield. So, yeah, pressure's vital on Jared Goff if Washington's going to have a chance. I'm with you, though, with the results, Patrick. I think Detroit just has a little bit too much. And playing in that environment in Detroit, they're going to be electric. So I got Detroit winning by 10 to 14 points as well. Magical season up here in DC for the Commanders, but I do think it comes to an end this week or Saturday night.
I will be rooting for those Commanders, man, because I would like to see them go, man. I would. I just to see it, you know.
Yeah, I'm with you. Since my team is gone, I know your team is gone too. Yeah, there. Yeah, we didn't either. You know, like
you didn't. Yours didn't either. So I mean, like I had a hit and then Pistons. Hey, we're gonna throw Penix in there for the last 4 games when I'm going letting in week 4. Put him in week 4.
You know they paid too much money to sit there and not give Cousins a shot. But yeah, I'm with you. They probably shouldn't have waited that long to give Penix a shot. But at least y'all got your quarterback in the future. So let's look. So let's go to the Sunday game. So to recap, we do have Kansas City and Detroit moving on. But Aaron had pointed this out. The Rams, he thinks the Rams could represent the NFC in the Super Bowl if they are able to go to Philadelphia and knock off the Eagles. So the Rams, the one thing that I do like about the Rams is their coaching staff. Sean McVay is good as it gets. And it looks like that team is starting to come together at the right time. You know he knows how to win a Super Bowl. And you got Matthew Stafford as your quarterback. You have a shot. You definitely have a chance to go to Philadelphia and win. But weather could be a factor. And with the Rams playing indoors, Philly, being up here in the Northeast, it's going to be cold. That Northeast Mid-Atlantic is going to be some cold weather coming in. So I think that could be a factor. And also, this is a rematch from when they did play, I think in November, they played in Los Angeles, and the Rams could not stop Saquon Barkley at all. He had over 200 yards rushing, and I see a lot of the same. However, I will say the passing game for the Eagles hasn't looked as good for them. So if the Rams can find a way to slow down Saquon and force Jalen Hurts to have to make some throws, that could get a little bit interesting. Jalen Hurts has not looked as good, and she's been in there besides this game against the Packers with the concussion that he had. So that part could get a little bit interesting. I do think Philly does make enough plays. This is rough going against that pedigree the Rams have with Stafford and McVay, but I think Philly will have enough to pull it out by about a touchdown.
Yeah, I'll go. I'll say the same thing, and like you said, weather's going to be a factor, and you just give that ball to Barkley and let him run. Just let him run. He ate for over 200 yards and 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, or whatever it was last time they played. Let him eat again, and he's going to. I'll say 4 to 7 by touchdown, 4 to 7 points. But I think Philly handles business and goes to play the Lions.
Yeah, and here's looking like the game of the weekend, man. And I think this is going to be a good one.
This was going to be good. You got
the Baltimore Ravens coming into Buffalo to play the Bills, and you have two quarterbacks. One of those two will win the MVP this year. Between Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, the offenses are clicking right now on both sides. This game is also a rematch. So they played week 4 on a Sunday night in Baltimore, and the Ravens handled Buffalo that game. That was a 35-10 game. Now, I do think Buffalo, and of course, with them being at home, difference there. I said that Sunday night
Mafia going.
Yeah, that Sunday night game was in Baltimore, and this one's going to be up in Buffalo in Orchard Park. And Buffalo has not lost a game at home this year. So I think this game is going to be tremendous. I think it goes down to the wire. I've been going back and forth as to who I think is going to win this game, but I think I'm going to give the edge to the Ravens. Derrick Henry. I just think Derrick Henry is the X factor, and he's going to be able to help them impose their will on the Bills defense. And I think he can get about 150 yards with a touchdown or two, and that will be the difference. I think Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen cancel each other out. Both of those guys are going to make plays with both their arms and their legs, and I think the defenses will show up as well. I do think they will both be able to get pressure on those quarterbacks, and it will make it a little bit tougher than I guess it normally would be. But I just think that running game, I just think Derrick Henry, as good as James Cook is for the Bills on the other side, I just think Derrick Henry is probably a little bit better, and I think that's the difference. So I think Baltimore wins by 3 or 4 points. I think it's close.
And dude, I respect it. But it is hard to go against that Bills team at home. it is. And like you, I've been going back and forth. I mean, I knew that as soon as I saw the Ravens win against the Steelers, I was like, man, I've been going back and forth since then. And honestly, I'm really not even confident even in picking with the team right now. But I'm going to give the edge to the Bills. It's hard this year. It is so hard to go against the Bills at home, and with Bills Mafia going to be going crazy. I think that the Bills defense does enough.
Good night to Aaron if you're going to bed.
Hey, Aaron, you have a good night, man. I think the Bills defense does enough to somewhat contain Henry and force Lamar to make more plays than he should, and ultimately it results in a turnover that gives the Bills the edge. I'm with you. I'm going 1 or 2 points. I think that last 2-minute turnover, Ravens are up like by 1, and Bills hit a field goal and win the game by 2, something like that. That's kind of how I see the game. But without a doubt, like if I had ever said anything about it, would not surprise me if the other team. This is the game right here where it would not surprise me one bit that the Ravens win this game by 1 or 2 points. You know what I mean? It's going to go down to the last second, and as bad as the wild card round was, as bad as this round could potentially be, that game will save both of those rounds. It is going to be a instant classic to watch that game.
Yeah. This is one of those games that could definitely go either way. And I mean, just like you said, I've been going back and forth with this. You have the top 2 MVP candidates, home field in Buffalo, and like you said, Bills Mafia. They're undefeated there. It's going to be electric, just like what we were talking about with the environment in Detroit. And it's no disrespect to Kansas City or Philadelphia. Those are electric atmospheres too. But these two, Detroit and Buffalo, they've been starving for so long for for some success. And so when they get these opportunities, there's just a little extra.
Yeah, there's a little extra on it. And there's just no more extra at Kansas City. I mean, at this point, people only tune in, and it's mostly little girls and teeny boppers that tune in to the Kansas City, and they're all they're sitting there going is, "Oh yay, Patrick Mahomes! Did you see her? There's Taylor Swift right there." The day's complete. Kansas City game, their day's complete with Taylor Swift. That's it. So it's kind of, I mean, to be honest with you, like, look, I love what Taylor Swift did to the game. She brought in so many new people, you know, great for the NFL. But at a certain point, like, stop putting the camera on her so much. It's not about her. It's about the football. They don't go in and put the camera on Kelsey while she's singing. You know what I mean? And I don't see a bunch of men going buying Taylor Swift blankets just because Kelsey's with Taylor Swift. So at a certain point, like, it's ran its course. Let's run it back.
He brought a crowd with her. It's not like on this scale, but he brought a crowd with her to Taylor Swift. There's some teeny boppers getting Kelsey gear.
Yeah.
And so
little shoulder pads, as they put on TikTok, they're like, "Oh my God, look at my pink shoulder pads."
So Patrick, we got a couple of other topics to cover. So we're gonna go over here now. Let me say this before getting into this topic. We over here in BOFA Sports are not going to talk to you about the Dallas Cowboys and Deion Sanders ad nauseum. We're going to address it here, and whatever happens, we'll respond off of that. But we're not like these other networks, ESPN, CBS Sports, or whoever else, that your blogs out there, whatever newspaper. We're not going to talk to y'all ad nauseum about the Cowboys. Y'all already know how we feel about the Cowboys. We feel like they get way too much airtime anyway because they don't do anything on the field where it really matters.
And I want to say something to piggyback on what Charles said. You'll also notice that a lot of times during our show, we only talk about the relevant teams. So as the teams start falling off, we stop talking about them. And it's not a disrespect to the team. It's just not a necessity to talk about a team that's irrelevant.
You got all season to talk about them.
We got all season to talk about them, and they'll get brought back up. So to piggyback on what Charles, we're not going to talk about Dallas the way everybody else has been talking about them. But what we will say is, well, we'll give our piece and then we're moving on. And then when something big happens, we'll bring it back up and talk.
So we'll if Deion gets hired or Deion decides to stay, cool. But what we're going to do right here is talk about the possibility of him going to the Cowboys. They're not going to bring Mike McCarthy back. So, of course, here comes the talk of, can Deion come over there? And I guess there's quote-unquote mutual interest. Here's what I'll say about it, Patrick. On the surface, schematically, would that be a good hire for Jerry Jones to bring in? Yes, schematically it would be. If you believe the Cowboys get way too much airtime now, and we would be two of those people because we just said it, then imagine how it's going to be if Deion Sanders gets coached there. It's going to be the Cowboy Football League. ESPN might not even be LBJSN anymore, or LBJSPN anymore. It might be yes.
DCDS.
Yes. Yeah. So, and of course with the LBJ, of course that is, we're talking about LeBron James there, and of course the C, the E would be replaced with the C for Cowboys because that's all you're going to see on those stations. and you'll still sprinkle in some LeBron James. That's what ESPN does, but not about them. With this schematically, yes, it would make sense to bring Deion over there. Here's the problem, though. Deion's not taking that job if he does not get like a share of the team.
There's a lot more to that than just Deion going, oh, sure.
Right.
Prime time has too much to say about what Deion does. Let's put it that way.
Jerry is not going to overstep and step on toes with Deion like he's been able to do with the other coaches who have been there. And we know the history. Any coach who has had a little bit of personality, they haven't lasted long there. I mean, we know the story with Jimmy Johnson. Remember when Bill Parcells was there? Those two coaches, they're going to tell you, hey, man, you need to stay out the way.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry does not like that, of course, because with him being the owner, general manager, team president, vice president of football operations, whatever fancy job title that you make up now, Jerry Jones is that in Dallas. But Deion is not taking that job if he doesn't get some sort of a guarantee that he's going to stay out of his way. No.
Because Deion Sanders, my personal opinion, it would be Deion Sanders who coaches the team. It'd be Primetime. So Primetime comes in and coaches it. That's a total different. And Primetime will tell you, like, I know football better than you do. So get out of my way, or else. But here's the second thing is that Shedeur has also said that he's coming back for one more year. He's not giving that up. He's not going to give that up to where he doesn't get to coach his son. You know. So
when did he say he's coming back?
Huh?
When did he say he's coming back?
Like a week ago.
I didn't see that, Patrick. I think
I'll pull it up. I could have swore he said he was coming back.
Because as far as I know, he's going pro. I mean, he like number 1 or 2 on a lot of the draft boards. So,
you talk. I'll.
So if he is, that's news to me. Because everything I've seen, he's going pro, and is with him and Cam Ward. They're top 2 quarterback prospects. Now, I did hear something where they were talking about the potential teams he could go to, depending on who needs what. But yeah, I think Shedeur's going pro, man. I don't think he's coming back to Colorado.
Oh, well, okay, so. It doesn't say that he is going either way. It just says that he will not be attending the NFL draft.
Oh, yeah, that I did hear. Yeah, like he wasn't.
So that's what I heard. So apparently, so he hasn't decided that he's either going for sure or staying in Colorado. But I can tell you, like, if he goes to NFL, yeah, I can see Deion Sanders more leaning towards it, but I don't. Dude, he's got too good of a thing going on in Colorado, dude. Come on. I mean, it's too good for him. But if by some crazy chance Shedeur does come back, he ain't giving that up. He ain't gonna give that up to go and coach a bunch of guys that don't care about what he's got to say.
I just go back to how it was when Deion was a player. So I remember when he was playing for the 49ers, and he had an interview. He said he would not play for the Dallas Cowboys unless they gave him a ridiculous deal, like the whole team. And what Jerry Jones ended up doing was giving him a contract that was unlike any contract at that time. Now remember, we're talking about the mid-90s here. So, so nothing recent, but we're talking about 94, 95. He had just was on the 49ers team that won the Super Bowl, and Jerry Jones ponied up and gave him a ridiculous contract, one of the biggest contracts at that time in the history of the league. And then he came to Dallas. And it takes something like that and some like ownership of the team and some
something crazy to get him to move.
General manager duty. Jerry Jones would have to lose one of those job titles he wants.
And he's not ready to lose that.
I don't think so either.
And like if I was in that situation, I'd be like, Jerry, you'd have to stop getting on the radio.
Yeah. Like you're not going to be stepping on my toes, dude. No, we're not dealing with that. And that's why I don't see Deion taking that job, because I don't think Jerry Jones is ready to pick that up either.
And like I said, man, it wouldn't be Deion Sanders taking that job. Primetime taking that job. And Primetime ain't playing with that. Personal opinion. Look, I've watched Deion Sanders for far too long. I watched him when he played for the Braves. I watched him when he played for the Falcons. And even then, at that age, nobody told Deion or Primetime what he was or was not going to do. No, you're not going to go and play football and then 24 hours later come and play in a World Series. You're not going to do that. Guess what he did?
Yeah.
He went and played football and then came back. And then they want to try to make a big deal out of it, saying, "Well, we're not gonna play in this game." Well, that's fine. He played in that game though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if he's not willing to do it at that age, what makes you think he's gonna be willing to do it at this age? Come on, I don't see it. Schematically, absolutely, it makes a lot of sense. But Jerry Jones ain't gonna give any of that up. Way too much money to give Deion Sanders for Deion Sanders to say, "Get out of my way, I want to go to the team." That's like paying him to say, "Tell me that I can't coach my team." Come on.
Yeah. So there's our view. We're not gonna spend a whole bunch of time on it. So that's how
I don't think it ain't happening.
we said our piece, and we'll see what happens. But again, we're not talking about the Cowboys and this situation with Deion ad nauseum. We're not doing that. Y'all know where y'all can go if y'all want that. So not here. And then finally, Patrick. So I want to talk about this situation with Jimmy Butler over in the NBA. So he's not happy with being with the Miami Heat. You know how it goes. So now,
when is he ever happy?
Jimmy Butler does seem to be this peculiar guy. He is gone. He's demanded a trade, and it's gotten a little messy. The Heat suspended him for 7 games for conduct detrimental to the team. And now he's making these Instagram or TikTok clips or whatever, maybe it's X, I don't know. But I've seen him pop up on the YouTube feed as well. But he's made these clips talking about, yeah, this is what you do. And he has a coffee shop down there. He's also shown up at the gym, and he'll catch these clips of him boosting people up, building people up, and then he'll sit there and have some message say, "See, this is what you do to your employees. You build them up." Look, Patrick, Jimmy Butler is 35 years old. All right, so yeah, I don't know. I know it seems petty. Seems really petty. Absolutely, it does.
It really is, dude.
But this dude is 35 years old, and he's in and out of the lineup. He's been hurt. He missed the playoffs last year. Unfortunate injury. He got hurt in the play-in game against the Philly 76ers. And then he couldn't play in that first round series against the Boston Celtics. But he's been in and out of the lineup, injured, battling different injuries. And the money, Patrick, look, this dude can opt in with Miami if he decides to pick up this option. $52.4 million. If he decided to pick up this option, and he's making like $47 million now.
Where do these teams get the money, dude?
Yeah, see, yeah, dude, because besides the NFL, there ain't no cap. salary cap like that. They got like a luxury tax that they can hit you with some tax penalties. But
and everybody's like,
yeah, they ain't caring about that luxury tax like that.
Yeah, it's like $250,000.
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna hit you for a luxury tax. It's gonna be straight to the idiot. Well, how far are we over? 450 million. Well, how much is the tax? 250,000. Do you write a check now, or do you want to wait till the end of the season? It's like, we don't need to do it, dude. I'm paying this guy $54 million. Like, I will pay $200,000 to you to get you out of my face. Get out of my office. I'll pay $300,000 just to get out of my office. You know what I mean?
But if he decides to opt in, that's $52.4 million he's opting into. So now I guess he's saying, I'll opt in, but only if it's going to facilitate a trade. So basically, if Miami decides, and so if Miami decides, if Miami decides they're going to trade him, the team that he's going to get traded to, or if he just says I'm going to opt out and become a free agent, Jimmy Butler is going to demand, in essence, of $55 million per year, however long this contract is. He has to start asking himself what that market is looking like for himself. This isn't Jimmy Butler from 4 or 5 years ago. This isn't the Jimmy Butler who has led the Heat. They made the NBA Finals in the bubble year, and they made it again in 2023. This isn't the same Jimmy Butler right now, though. And if these teams, they're not going to want to pay $55 million to a guy who's not even on the court a whole lot at this point. I just think at some point we need to stop with the pettiness. Business is business. I will be the first one, as people have heard me on this show say, don't try to tell me that it's all about business and there's no personal feelings being involved here. You have to get to know somebody somewhat if you say you're going to do business with them, because if you don't, how the hell are you going to trust them? So he's gonna, right now there's hurt feelings here. Jimmy Butler wants a contract extension. Miami's like, no, dude, no. And now trade requests are flying out, and Jimmy Butler's out here making TikTok videos or whatever forum they pop up on.
Well, at least making burner accounts.
Yeah, exactly. At least it is coming from Jimmy Butler. Yes, that is true.
Kevin Durant.
Yeah, right.
Not saying names.
Oh, it is. It's widely known that Kevin Durant is very adverse in the burner accounts.
Yeah.
But
you got 12 phones.
Yeah.
12 different accounts. Only one comes from Kevin Durant.
But it's just it's so petty, man. Like, I mean, Jimmy, come on, Jimmy, come on. Let's stop being petty and let's deal with this. Look, either you're gonna opt in or you're not. We'll see if Miami ends up trading them. I don't see who the takers are. I mean, if you are gonna trade for them, you're gonna mortgage a lot if you're that team receiving Jimmy Butler, and he still might not even re-sign with you. Do you really want to go through that as an NBA team? Yeah, I get it. You got the money, but you ain't trying to put yourself in that problem.
Well, I mean, where would he go? Pelicans?
Yeah,
and I think they're way over salary cap right now.
Yeah, the Pelicans had already made deals to where you, because you took in Deshaun Free and you're throwing, and the Pelicans, I mean, I don't think the Pelicans should be willing to throw away any more money because they have thrown a whole bunch of weight towards Zion Williamson.
Oh yeah, that's right. See, so Pelicans are out. I mean, the only team that I really think is like, and there's a few of them that's under salary cap, is Miami if they get rid of Jimmy Butler.
Come back to Miami, stay in Miami.
So you go back to Miami because they're under salary cap. Atlanta's under salary cap. So I mean, there's a possible Atlanta, but he ain't gonna go to Atlanta. He doesn't want to go to Atlanta.
And I don't think Atlanta really wants to.
And Atlanta doesn't want.
Atlanta done already offloaded contracts. They're not trying to bring another one.
They unloaded contracts, and they're still trying to unload contracts. So Atlanta is like, I don't think they're trying to get anybody to build around. I think they're going to try to look at the NBA draft like this coming up year. And I'll be honest with you, like Trae Young's probably gone after this year. To be honest with you. I mean, I could see if it works out and they make a good run in the playoffs. But, I mean, they're 50-50 right now. They're 500. They win one, they lose one. It don't matter who it is. They'll beat Boston and lose to Phoenix. And I don't even get it, dude. They'll come in and beat the best team by 15, and then lose against the worst team. They'll lose against freaking who's a bad team right now? I can't think of them.
Oh, well, the Wizards.
The Wizards. Yeah, dead serious. They'll go in and they will whip Boston, and then get whipped by the Wizards. Then the next night, they'll go in and they'll beat Golden State. Lose to the Wizards again. I'm like, look, you win one, you lose one. Look, I get it. Sometimes that's life. Hey, you win some, you lose some. You know, not like that. Like, win the games you're supposed to, and then surprise us and win the games that you're not supposed to. You know, do that. But there's not many teams. The Wizards could probably pick him up. They're way under salary cap.
I just don't. Yeah, and like you said, man, I don't see I don't see a big market for that, because this is an aging player who is more and more spending time on the bench because of whatever injury, and it's going to come with a hefty price tag. I don't see a whole bunch of teams standing in line trying to have another lofty contract. I mean, the teams, even when you look at Boston has two healthy contracts with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. You look at teams like the Bucks, Giannis and Dame Lillard, hefty contracts. Philly, hefty contracts with Joel Embiid and Paul George. Ugh, that contract. And then they gave Tyrese Maxey a lot of money. So I mean, these teams now have at least your middle of the pack, two good ones. Either they have two hefty contracts or they have one hefty contract and they're trying to save up, like the Spurs right now. You know how much they're going to have to pay Victor Wembanyama when it's time. Oh, so they're not trying. They're not doing nothing.
That'll probably happen at the end of this year.
Yeah,
especially with what he's doing.
Yeah,
it would not surprise me one bit. So yeah, they're saving up for that.
Yeah, so I think Jimmy Butler, to me, unless I'm missing something, he got to be real with himself, and he's an aging player with a hefty price tag. I know all it takes is one team to say, yeah, we're going to go ahead and give you that, but that market looks pretty bare from everything that I'm seeing, and
the team that would be willing to do it is probably not a playoff contender.
Right. So I don't know. Like I think he stop being petty and just look at the situation.
Dude, you're getting paid $47 million. Stop being petty over $5 million at this point.
Exactly, like, dude. You're getting paid, dude. It's not like you're making.
It's not like you're the best player in the entire world where you put up 60 points, get 55 rebounds, 300 assists a game, and 2,900 blocks. You're not that player, right? And getting paid $900,000 a year. Look, if I'm getting paid $900,000 a year and I'm throwing up 5 doubles in a game, yeah, you gonna pay me. You're barely getting 6 assists. I think you're like averaging 3 or something like that per game, 4 per game. No. No. You take your 47 and be happy that you're getting that at your age, at your play rate. Let's put it that way. At your play rate, you're getting $47 million at your play rate. Be okay.
So Patrick, before we hop on out, man, what's coming up for Bro Epic?
So we have a really cool show coming up on the 19th. We are filming our parents versus kids dodgeball game at the Boom Boom Room. So I am freaking stoked. Cannot wait. Then we have we're going to do next month, we're going to do a Capture the Flag show. I'm in the midst of writing that right now. And then, so that'd be January. So January, we're doing dodgeball. February, we're doing Capture the Flag. March, we're doing dodgeball again at Coastal Elite Sports. And then we're doing pickleball at Coastal Elite Sports. So we got a huge first quarter. We started putting out our Pop Darts tournament today. So we got that. We also started a new segment called Monday Morning Motivation. So check that out. That's pretty cool. We're doing that on Instagram. And then don't forget to go and follow. We just need the subscribers and the followers. And then you're automatically entered in for a chance to win some Pop Darts at 1,000 subscribers. At 2,500, it'll be a bucket golf set. And at 5,000, PlayStation 5.
All right, and for this product, just look out for shorty shorts and Friday shows. There we go.
Yeah. Oh, and let me tell you something. I have been approached by several people telling me, "Hey, you need to get back on your shorts," and they're like, every time I walk in, they'll be like, "What is a breath of fresh air?" I was like, "You do know that we have restructured that." He goes, "Oh, for sports." I was like, "Bring that back, dude. You got to bring it back."
Yeah, it's coming back. It's definitely coming back. So
yeah, I'm gonna have to bring it back. I'm actually putting my marker board up together so that I can start getting it in on the tail end of the weeks. So look for those coming. I am going to bring them back because a lot of people have asked me to start bringing back my shorts.
So with that, y'all, that will conclude this latest edition of the BOFA Sports Webcast. That is what we are breathing on for this evening. So y'all make sure y'all visit the BOFA Sports YouTube channel, smash that subscribe button, and follow the BOFA Sports Facebook page. Everybody enjoy the games, take care of yourselves, and we will be back at this time next week. Take it easy.